it is.
This is everyone wants the bell, Moan.
I know.
It's all just everything that I see up and down this thing is just bell, bell, bell.
Are we being used for an item, a bell, DK? Is that what's going on? Like, if so, we're sad.
I don't know. Everybody's still waiting for all these additional emojis that we're supposed to be getting, you know?
Well, Dolly's supposed to be on top of that, DK.
Oh, is she now?
It's okay to call her out. Yeah, it is okay to call her out too.
I see how that goes. Yeah, she's slacking a little bit over there. I think everything stopped whenever somebody brought up that it had to be a her emoji, you know?
I know. It's crazy, DK. Well, we got us emojis, and I can hit the bell, though, and we can start the show. What you want to do?
Let's do that.
Let's hit the bell. Here we go. See if I still got it.
We're going to talk some football today, just for a change of pace, you know?
We are. Speaking of football, I got to tell you something, too, about this show, DK. It's very fascinating. Every time, and in the competition, this happened, too. And maybe you have a physiological reason why this happened. Every time I get ready to do this show, or I was getting ready for game day, DK, other than having to use the restroom, which I don't have to do that, I get hot. Do you?
I just said this.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I'm adjusting the nest right now.
It's so funny, and then she kindly lowered the temperature in here because I was like, man, I was just like burning up. I was just this show. Well, listen, however hot we might be physically, so to speak, I have what I think is a pretty good subject matter for the day that I came up with. I'm going to run it past you. A week ago, at minicamp, Najee Harris spoke with us. It was the one time he spoke during the off-season workouts. And among the things that he brought up, and I do mean he brought up, it didn't come up from somebody else, was the idea that the Steelers' rushing attack through those final 9 games not only was legit, but still has an area which it can significantly upgrade. And being specific, he referred to hitting the edges. Now, before I even proceed, Moan, what was your assessment of how they did, whether it was Najee or Jaylen Warren or whoever, at hitting the edges?
How did I think they did? I didn't think they did it a whole lot, DK.
No, they didn't try it.
Yeah, it just wasn't the strength of what this team was built upon. To me, and it never really was one of our things either, DK, as far as outside, like real outside zone. We tried to do it the year that we had Jack Bignell. What was that, circa 2012, 13, if I'm not mistaken? Around that era, we tried to incorporate the outside zone, but we never really had the backs. We never really had the personnel to actually do that type of stuff, too. And it just was one of those tendency breakers at time, DK. It was a tendency breaker if we ran, let's go Ramon Foster, Houston, Texas, outside zone. We never did that.
You didn't have Ramon Foster.
So is that portion of it? Yeah. Is no doubt about it. Is that portion of it, and it's also the bodies up front. But we can go deeper into it, DK, if you want to.
Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
Easter. Come on, man! I'll ring this bell until this show ends. Okay, I'll be like the dude off of Breaking Bad. Remember in the wheelchair?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'll be him.
Salamanca, I think, was his name.
Salamanca, look at you with the pop culture facts.
I like it.
Yeah. Which way you want to go with this, DK? You want me to dive into the whys, man? Because I'd love to.
Well, okay, yes. But now I'm going to complete the thought, because all I was looking for was your assessment there and see if we're on the same page. We are. It's not that they were or weren't good at it. They didn't even do it. Okay? So that tells me that Matt Canada, Mike Tomlin, everybody looked at the people that they have and said, all right. Now, if you look at who's there now, and whether that's Dan Moore or Broderick Jones at left tackle, if Darnell Washington is over there on that left side, can you finally see something, as Najee himself referenced? He believes they're going to be trying to hit the edge. Do you think they're capable of doing that?
So 2 things, DK. One, yes, love having Darnell Washington over there, okay. But the other portion of it is, DK, we can't discount him because we got a super blocker out there. Pat Frymuth is a very valid blocker on this offense.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Cool.
He's becoming that. The only reason you saw a pause there is because when he first came into the NFL, they made a big point of saying, let's get to work, son. Okay.
That's fair, DK. But yes, this is where I stand now on this team having the ability to do that. It's multifaceted. So I don't even want to give you a number, how many numbers I'm going to have. One, you kind of had to work this team a little bit, DK. You had to get to a point to where, honestly, phasing out is a thing. One thing I knew about Chooks was this. Chooks can play in anybody's zone. So for the people that don't want Chooks here next year, he can go play in the power zone. He can go play in the outside zone offense also. So you have that. And then you get a guy like James Daniels that can play power and also move side to side. Our group was more straight line. Pounds had the ability to get in space. I think Dave can move side to side. We had dudes that could do it. I was probably a guy that would probably be one of the weak links when we talking about outside zone teams.
You stayed put for the most part. There was some pulling in either direction, but you stayed for the most part.
My portion was A gap to A gap, or I can go stretch B gap too. Some guys get good in this understanding, DK, to what you're saying. Personnel. I went through this, and I'm going to go back real quick. I went through this bad in college my senior year. I still look at one of the reasons why I went undrafted, because we sucked on offense, and there was no rhyme or reason to it. The one thing that we did, we tried to change our entire offensive DNA with personnel that would not allow it. We went 5-7 my senior year in college. That's what happens when you move to a different DNA before you actually have the pieces in place, right, DK?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they have the pieces in play. If Broderick Jones is the starter at left tackle, guess what you say? We've upgraded. And I'll even say this too. Dan Moore's capable of an outside zone threat, but then we got a guard that's capable of doing it from Philly that did this style of ball too.
Isaac Seumalo.
Zone. Yes, you have a center that can move lateral left to right. There are pieces and places right now that you can say to yourself, we can run any style of offense you want. We saw 4 of these 5 guys, excluding Isaac, if Dan Moore's still the left tackle, be a power team. Beautiful. Now you have flexibility. And honestly, if they're speaking about doing this type of stuff, that at least honestly gives me some encouraging moments about what Matt Canada has up his sleeve. It shows me that, number one, this is the other portion of it too. Having a guy under center that can get out and hand the ball to the outside zone running back. Ben was mostly gun for the most part. It ain't the fact that he wouldn't go under center, but Ben was more comfortable in the gun. Heck, I don't know, you want to call it his comfort, age, whatever the case may be, DK, but the personnel now allows you to run this style of offense, and that can be dangerous.
Yeah, that's the point that I think Najee was getting at, was that with all these bigs that have been added, and I mean bigs at other positions too.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that has to happen when you're hitting the edge, guess who else has to complete their blocking assignments?
Tight ends.
And
running back. You talking about? Hold up. I missed that
all the way out there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Wide
receivers.
Everybody's got to do it. Okay,
and that is the portion of it where you got a guy, okay, like George Pickens. That is a beautiful place to be at, DK. And also Allen Robinson's a big wide receiver. The personnel again.
Yeah, I just think when you have those kinds of options,
yeah,
and you're talking about being big, acting big, running big, even passing big, okay?
Yeah.
Holding those blocks for a longer period of time. That's what you want. You know,
it is.
You want to be able to attack in more ways than just blowing guys off the ball. You want to make them feel a little uncertain. Moan, you know what I'm talking about infinitely better than I do.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You want to get those defensive linemen, if they're just snorting and looking straight ahead,
move them.
It's got to, please.
Move them off their mark. And this is the thing about it. What's so fascinating about outside zone play is you're still hitting the A or B gap. Like, you can get the outside edge, but what the running back is looking for, Najee did this in college, is finding the crease from A gap to B, A gap to A gap. That's exactly what you're looking for. It's a wide track for the guys, forcing, to your point, the defensive line off their mark. They have to, unless they have a stunt that takes them backside. They have to run with the OL to complete their assignment as far as gap integrity on defense. If you got a team that's really good at outside zone, like I said, the team that comes off top to me is 2 teams. the Houston Texans with Arian Foster, phenomenal with it. And also the guy that ran for 2,000 yards, Chris Johnson. The years that he hit CJ2K. You remember what that looked like, DK?
Everything was out there.
And what did he do? He put his foot in the ground and he got north and south, DK.
There wasn't much to it in terms of outright science or anything like that. When we come back, we're gonna go hard at the only segment that matters.
That's all of Hey Moan and his bell right here.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
I think what it is, Moan, the heat thing that we were talking about. Hang on a second. The heat thing that we were talking about is like when you start getting creative and you start getting, you know what I'm talking about? It's like she's disputing this with me because we keep setting the temperature to colder and colder here. But whenever I'm writing or doing one of these, like I get burning hot.
I think that's like I get juiced up to do this show. I told you guys I love doing it. So I think my chemical, I don't even make up. Just hits that competitive side of me, DK. I really have. You know what I'm saying? Because this is still a performance.
Yeah, that's it. So we're like heating up here. Like I know you always take her side on everything, but I need some backing here.
I got you on this one, DK.
He's got me.
Dolly, you're wrong on this one. I'm Team DK. There's no other way around that one.
All I'm saying is I'm not getting hot here.
Well, you know what though?
Very calm and composed and even temperature. I don't know what you guys are doing to yourselves.
Yeah, you know this is the problem here. It's just, you know, and when you get like super crazy hot and whatever else,
So is this your way of trying to say that you guys are hot? Is this
we already tried that.
It is Father's Day weekend still, right? Can we get it? Can we get that?
Yep, absolutely.
It is time for the question and answer portion of our program, and that is the Hey Moan segment. If you're a member, and why aren't you at this point, you can put up the little Hey Moan emojis here. That'll help get you noticed and get your question shown here. Matt Hyde gets us going with Hey Moan. Being that Steelers have Washington, Freiermuth, Connor Hayward, Zach Gentry, do you think that Gentry gets cut?
Man, that is a hard question because you got to answer this one as a business. You legitimately have to answer this as a business, DK, and not with emotions and feelings. With that being said, they just re-signed Zach Gentry. If you don't mind, I'm gonna hit our research department real quick, DK, and see what his salary was, man. Just because that'll tell us a lot if he's cuttable or not. He's cuttable, y'all. I gave him $152 to sign. This deal is approximately $1.2 million. That's a paycheck, man. Sorry it didn't work out for you here. Gentry, to me, I said he's almost too important, DK, to get cut. I do think you have to have some of his veteran leadership. I see the tandem of him and Pat together.
Yeah.
Thing. I say he make it. I do still say that.
I think it's going to be a challenge for him, and I think he's aware that it's going to be a challenge. I also think that when you're talking about Connor Hayward, are you really talking about a tight end? I know what room he's sitting in. He and I talked last Thursday, but I also know that he could very easily just roam the hallways, okay, and up into any room, you know?
And so, and that's what I was thinking. Like the three strongest out of the four is the ones that were just named. Pat, Connor, and Washington's got to make the team. Those are my top three. What I say is this. I think Gentry trumps what Washington has as far as skill set right now and veteran experience. But, DK, your caveat right there of Connor being positionless, I think that does it for me, DK.
I just think that if you're both positionless and you've got that little extra moxie that you can add to it. And, oh, by the way, you can contribute to special teams.
That's why I was going next.
It's just because Connor Hayward's a special teams guy, and if you're out there and you're doing stuff, I mean, it's just a different feel to it. Justin Work comes in with a contribution and asks us here, hey, Moan, I've been gone for a while. We still need grilling and chilling. Put this toward the merch budget.
We do.
Damn, dude.
We do, Justin. Thank you for that significant contribution. And I see what it is, 273 as in my number. Far too kind, DK. We can't say enough thank you.
Wait a second. What is grilling and chilling? What am I missing
Grilling and chilling. I think it's one of those days where we're talking about sitting out smoking stogies and doing the show. Like, we have to do that. And also, whenever I come up there to the shop, hey, maybe we can just set up a little Weber grill, DK, and grill and chill out. I'm here for that, DK.
I don't know if the city would be okay with us just setting up a grill on
We
Fifth
can't
Avenue.
do that in the city?
It seems unlikely.
Oh, we can get a little porch Weber, man.
The Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire might have something to say about that, but we can certainly get something done whenever you come up here. When is that anyway? That's the Tennessee game.
Yes, it is the Tennessee game. I want to make up for camp, but I got other stuff coming up before then, DK. And I'll be up Wednesday, all day Thursday. We'll have to make something rock.
Yeah, that's
This is
something
a Thursday
here.
night game.
Justin blows away the record contribution here. I don't even know what the previous one was.
I'll shine your shoes. I mean, I got you somewhere, Brody. I do. I swear I got you somewhere.
Yeah.
And he did all that from the. Is he at the uncle's table too?
I don't care.
No, he's not at the uncle's table.
No.
He's chilling with us.
No, here. Justin brings up here that he's saying that Gentry's Latrobe grilling and chilling.
Hey, okay. Well, guess what? I'll have to make it a point to get there for you, my brethren.
Become a member.
Yeah.
Become a member. Become a Justin. Mark Lancaster says, Patrick Peterson, is he being disrespected as the 31st ranked corner in the league?
It's fair. It just is.
I think it is too. I don't see where the disrespect would be, Mark. I hope you can elaborate on that. I mean, how old is he?
Is he 31?
30,
if I'm not mistaken.
32? If you're making the lists at that age, you're being respected.
It really is. Patrick Peterson is 32. He'll be 33 July 11th. This is the thing. And I'll say this too. His biggest challenge this year is defeating that. And I think he will, and I think he can, because he's athletic enough. DK, we talk about this all the time. Guys train way better these days. They take way better care of their bodies, and he plays a position that's been easier on his body than somebody in the trenches, right? So age, he's going to get tested, and rightfully so, DK, right? If you had a 33-year-old corner out there, what are you doing to him?
Right.
You're going at him.
You're going at him.
I'm going at him.
You're going at him, hoping that he's got nothing left by the third quarter, and then you're still going at him. You're going at him even harder and deeper.
Yes, 100%. So him being 31, I'm just glad the fact he's in the top 32. Heck, what is that, DK? 16 pairs? That's still top half of the league.
Yeah, it's fair. Our barber points out that it is from 7 to 31, and he did have a good season with the Vikings. But at the same time, Barber, you know this, man. When the end comes, it comes suddenly and sharply. And maybe that's what people are looking at with the rankings. I don't know. I know that it's not, and it can't be a reflection of his previous season. That would be nuts.
Yeah, man.
Jake says Anthony Miller out, Hakeem Butler in. I don't know. Are you a buyer on Butler? I mean, he's played 2 whole snaps in the National Football League. He's 27 years old. Moan, tell me who does that.
Not a bunch of special teamers.
Yeah.
That's who does that, DK. Like, legitimately, man.
I think people they see football on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm not being above it. When you put on an XFL or a USFL, it just looks like football. I mean, to the casual eye. You're not sitting there studying it. You're not being Bill Walsh and trying to dissect stuff. Well, and then you see him make these great catches in this big body, and you think, oh yeah, he can do that in the NFL.
And that's the thing about it, DK, is you got to live in the world of what actually works for a team. And if Hakeem works better for a team than you, that's the life that you have to live. I saw his tweet saying goodbye and everything like that. It's just a business decision. And I'll say this, for a team to make a cut this late into the summer, for a guy that we know about, if for anything, Well, guess what? Either something's coming down the pipeline as to why he got let go / fired, or they see one or two things that make the guy they signed that much better, DK.
Bob Schreiner comes in with his key lime pie disrespected as my 10th favorite dessert. Not when it's on my plate. That's great. You know what, Bob? Here's the problem. You can't come on here and be that clever and that funny and do it from that table. We need you as a member. You're the guy we're picking on here.
Yeah.
You're way too valuable to not be a member. I'm going to show you how to do that right now, and you're going to get this done, Bob, all right?
Yeah.
All you do is you go to dkps.net/join.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can be as clever and funny as contribute everything you want to our society. But that's a little bit rough here.
And we'll put you up on the big board more like this. Like I got Casey that tells DK what. You feel me? Craveability and everything, man.
I don't know what we would do with
Look,
that.
you even got Ron Lytle, I got telling you. Why Dub? Abandon the uncle table.
Yeah, it's not any good. I'll tell you what, at the Get-Go Cafe and Market, since Casey's all over us for this, quality is at the core of every menu item. The 3 expert chefs, let's call them, just for fun's sake, Casey, Ryan, and definitely today, Justin Work. They make sure that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for what they call craveability. Order your favorite entry at the Get-Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. On a far, far more serious note, Joe Arroyo asks, hey, Moan, did you happen to play with Clark Hagan's? My sympathy to his family.
Yes, I did not play with Clark. I think Clark was on his way out as I was on my way in.
Just before.
I heard all the stories about Clark Hagan's. I heard how awesome of a teammate he was, how hard he went on the field. The story of also what the legend of James Harrison was born because of Clark. I mean, he just outplayed him a little bit, right? And that's a beautiful thing, but they were still good friends. I saw them guys chuckle it up when we went to Arizona one time. I'm pretty sure I shared a field with Clark Hagan's. A legend. A guy that's a part of one of those storied, cemented teams as far as Super Bowls go, right, DK?
Yes, sir.
I can't speak personally about him, but it's I did hear that too, Ron Lytle. He was a guy that walked in a room and everybody loved him. And it's sad for whatever reason he passed away, that we don't get the ability to see more of him, man. Y'all check on your people. If you know somebody got something going on, step in. Don't be the cool friend, okay? That let somebody do something if you know something's going on.
Be the bad guy. Be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Be the villain.
Like, if you know something's going on, say something, y'all. We need people. 46. I'm 37, y'all. You see what I'm saying? Like, that ain't that far in age, and to think this guy's demise is gone for whatever reason. Check on your people, man. I will tell y'all, don't be those guys that allow something or ladies that have something go on and you don't address it.
5th round pick out of Colorado State still holds that school's record for sacks with 33. In 2005, in the regular season, he had 9 sacks for the Steelers. 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Big part of the defense. And then they get to Super Bowl. They get to the Super Bowl XL, the one that was the Jerome Bettis one in Detroit. First drive, Seattle's going down the field. Who wraps up Matt Hasselbeck and sends him down for a sack that sets the tone for the game for what ended up being a tighter game than maybe a lot of people will recollect, 21-10 in the Steelers' favor. Super Bowl champion NFL veteran as a 5th round pick. That is the most Steelers story ever.
Yes, man. And the other portion of it is this, man. Y'all know we are a family, right? And we all hold each other down and accountable. If I'm not mistaken, and I know this to be true, him and Joey Porter played together. Joey's gone from one of the highest highs of watching his son get drafted to the franchise that drafted him to probably one of his lowest lows.
They were very close.
Y'all send the prayer up, or whoever you pray to, for Joey Porter, because I know for a fact that he's hurting right now behind this. Okay, so I'll just drop that and just simply check on your people. Please do that. Everything ain't all right sometimes.
This will be my favorite one that I see today. Clark Hagan's was the true meaning of the standard. And that actually applies because, again, you're talking about a 5th round pick who steps in and just plays to the expected level. Okay? And he gets into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And guess what, Moan? He's not a 5th-round pick any more than you're undrafted.
The standard.
You're playing next to Marquise Pouncey, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're expected to be at a certain level.
Yes, you are, DK. I think our friend Jim Fairfield had a good one, DK. I just started because we can go here for a second and get right back to the game if you are with that, DK.
Yes, sir. It's right here. He says, "Hey, Moan, still serious. Why do former players have such a diminished lifespan?"
Health. Okay. That's first and foremost. That's the most obvious thing. That's why hopefully you guys see the weight loss in me, man. That's always huge. For big guys, get small. For small guys, DK, you know this is true. Don't get big. You running back wide receivers and quarterbacks don't become big guys because you don't have that training regimen every day, man. And this is the other thing too, to what the league is affording you too. You have an abundance of everything. Nobody in your family probably tells you no. You go from being a young man in your family to the apex, to where all things financial and decision-making go through you. So when guys retire and have to really sit on that couch and just be a regular Joe or find something else to do and they can't find something that gives them that same dopamine as the game does, they resort to other things or they just lose themselves. It's easy, I promise y'all, of having everything laid out from you. For me, from the 6th grade all the way to 2019, that takes me to 1997 to 2020, DK. I had a schedule. I had a plan. I had a write-up of everything that I was going to do. Essentially, I had it laid out for me. You retire, and most times guys just have time. Guys still have money. Guys still have that same power and influence, and they never make that transition over until, man, I don't need 3,500 calories to eat right here. Man, I can't party the way I used to. I'm finding out for myself. I love bourbon, DK, but bourbon gives me a bad reaction right now. So you know what I'm doing? That's got to go to the side. There are certain things and measures you have to take. You can't burn both ends of the candle when we speak about life. And that's to people that don't play the game too. And it's such a taxing sport too, y'all.
I also want to say, strictly from the journalism/research standpoint, to be careful of over labeling that or over stereotyping that. There also are former NFL players who live many, many years and live very healthy, long lives. Now, I'm sure they are also the ones who do what Moan is talking about. They take care. They take care of themselves. Okay. I look right now, and we cite the same names a lot here on this show, but if it's Mean Joe Green, if it's Mel Blount, don't tell me just look at these guys. Well, but again, if you know how Antoine Randall lives his life, and I've known him post-football, he is an active spiritual force.
Yes.
Okay. Of nature, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. These are people who stay very much engaged, like you said, who keep active, who don't just sit around dreaming about their past football glory and everything else here. And we have alert coming in from Bob Schreiner, who says, "Clear a space at the big table." Wait a second.
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening with Bob Schreiner here?
You see the green name, DK. Don't act like you don't see that little twisty circle thing right there. You know what that means.
Oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
Okay. See, you can't. That's what I'm talking about. You can't just come in here and get all clever and cute and funny and then just say I'm not a member. That's crazy.
Bob, take this right off this lion right here. You hear me? This is your crown for the day, and you wear this very proudly. You got that, my brethren? Yes. Members only, DK.
Ron Slay continues to try to drop poison into the waters around here. He comes at Darren Watt, and then Darren Watt says, "I'm watching The Big Rage."
You know what? DK? I actually enjoy The Big Rage and Ragu, man. Hey, I love it. That's good. Big Rage. That's
stuff.
Alan Faneca
points out Alan Faneca. But again, you look at Alan, he dropped his weight.
ASAP.
I mean, the next day.
Yeah, he did. Pounds dropped his that fast, too. Pounds dropped that. I think me and Dave were a little bit slower with ours, but you said Dave looked good. I hadn't seen any pictures of Dave.
I saw Dave in person. I told you.
Yeah, he looks good.
Months ago, he and his wife were at the airport in Miami, and I'm walking down a concourse, and we look at each other and you're like, "Whoa!" You know how when you're not expecting to see somebody?
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, you're still David DeCastro. He looked really. I even patted him on the non-tummy.
You see what I'm saying? So everybody's working. I think this too, Jim. A lot of people are getting more conscious about that too, that life thing, and like what it means to be around. It sucks, man, for a lot of people to have all of this and not be able to enjoy it. That's what's gotten me into it. Plus, you just feel better when you're more active, and we can do this type of stuff. DK, right?
Absolutely. Todd Mayberry says, hey, Moan, they say that running the ball in the NFL is an attitude. I feel there are more angry runs ahead and that the picket fence is turning into the wall of yins. We're getting a little weird now.
I like it, Todd. Todd, I love the wordplay regardless of what's going on, okay? With that being said, it is an attitude thing. You got to be set on that. And the reason it's an attitude thing, too, is because you take you take the top off of everything whenever you do that. The anxiety of the game when you can control the line of scrimmage. If you're moving it and it's a good thing, you're fine. I'm hesitant to say what it's going to look like, DK, as far as them being the picket fence and the wall of yins, because I saw our friend Barbara earlier say what? Oh, Canada. I don't know what the rhyme or reason is going to look like, and also the efficiency of it too, DK. I think it's fair to just put a pause on what we think. If they're averaging 150 a game, sign me up for 2 Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah, I could see that for sure here. I feel like putting Justin Works
got to, DK.
back. I feel like we should have done the whole show. Did you come in for the $73? And I didn't even know what he meant by grilling and chilling. And it turns out, and now I'm reminded of it, that Freiermuth and Gentry do a show on the Steelers official website that they call Grilling and Chilling, where they're sitting around a grill. I've seen it. It's really good, actually.
Yeah, and I think they got shirts too, Dolly.
Yeah.
I think she's off the mic right now.
She's taking care of our. We
have
some
we'll take
here in the shop.
Take care of us, dolls. Come on now.
There. We're a little bit busy today here downtown.
Oh, this is a good one too for my guy Jake. I think I'll like this one, DK. I don't know about you, but it's this one. I just started. It's from Jake.
Okay.
Jake goes, "Hey, Mom," proper entrance right there. What was it like playing with Mike Vick in his last year? Any stories? It was awesome to see as a fan. Same. DK, I'm not sure if you was, had branched off.
I was there. Yeah.
A fan, y'all. Like, Ben is his own item. But Vic, I think a lot of us grew up seeing him have his own shoe, have the video game, the what do you want to call him?
No, it's a lot. It'd be like if Ken Griffey Jr. just walked into a baseball. Am I right? Because that's what he was.
What it was.
There was a time when I was younger, and people would ask, like, who's the greatest athlete in the world, and they would inevitably cite some soccer player or track star or something, and I would just come back. I'm sorry, man. It's Michael Vick because he has 11 people trying to catch him, trying to kill him, and he can't be caught.
He couldn't be caught, DK, man. And I'll say this, man, and Vic has spoke on this publicly. He had some knowledge, not all knowledge of his indictments and everything, his charges that he had. Vic is a guy, man, that if y'all met him and you love him. He's just that. He never turned down a teammate. He never turned down a fan. And he was by far one of the coolest dudes I've ever met in my life as a teammate and just as a friggin' person. Like, I know he has his black cloud that hangs over him. But that dude was a dude, DK. He really was. And even we got him at the end of his at the end of his career too. It was cool.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot left, but what you're talking about though, he had that impact when he walked in. He was third string, and he was a distant third string. But at the same time, you just looked at him, you just went, "It's like Mike Vick. He just walked past me here, you know."
He did. And my locker was right next to him. And we used to just
that's
chop
right.
it up.
He was right on that side. That's right.
So me and Vic became real tight. He's come on my show in Nashville a few times. I saw my mother-in-law lose her mind over Mike Vick. Do you hear me? That's a story.
And by the way, where Mike Vick was concerned and the stuff that if you're sitting there going, what about? Look, it was very real. It was reprehensible. And guess what else?
He went to prison.
And?
Paid off all his debt.
Thank you.
He paid
That's the way society is structured.
He gave the option to cop out and file bankruptcy. He said, "No, I'm going to pay every single penny off." And he did, DK.
Yeah.
That's what you call redemption.
And you can, that doesn't make what he did right. It just means that he set things
debts.
right. He paid his debts, and he paid his debts to society.
Yes, he did.
As well by going.
There's a lot of people we idolize that don't do that, DK.
This is very true.
Okay, then. We'll move forward.
We'll move forward. We're moving forward before we start getting into some shaky territory here. Slash was better, says Yancey. No, he wasn't.
I'm telling y'all.
Sorry,
even on the practice field, he was still half of himself. But DK, it was good, dog. It was good.
We have a few more coming in with examples of guys who lost a lot of weight, really slimmed down right after retirement here. Bob brings up Jack Ham. Yeah, Jack Ham just instantly went into the business world and looked very much like he fit in. Hokey bro was half of himself by the following morning.
Yes, he was. And that's the thing, too. It's two dynamics in that, man.
What did he stands out, actually, Hokey bro, because what did he eat?
Well, that's the thing about it. Hokey bro had to eat a lot to be 300 pounds.
I don't know that he was 300.
He probably wasn't. And that's the thing, too. Pounce had to eat a lot to be 300 pounds. Pounce was honest with us on here. He said he was 285.
Huh?
I never knew that. This dude was 285 blocking 300 pounders, man. Al had to eat a lot to gain weight. Al was by far one of the biggest eaters I've ever seen in my life.
We watched it happen to Al. I mean, Al shows up as a tight end / wide receiver on the practice squad. The next thing you know, every day Al is like,
yeah, no doubt about it. Like Al was eating waffles with peanut butter, pancakes, a big omelet with cheese, all the meat in it, and like whole milk. It was by far packing on all of the friggin' pounds, man. But it's like that. Your body is your body, and you deal with it how you have to.
Yeah, we're not going to get away with mentioning Mike Vick without addressing Ryan Miller's question here. What about Ben's public issues? Was that ever an issue? Without getting into all the specifics, as we're not a court of law, and he was never charged, much less tried. Was that ever an issue, though, in the locker room?
Never an issue in the locker room.
Why is that, though?
Because it's exactly that. There wasn't a charge, DK. There was allegations that he had to settle and all those types of things. But Ben was a model citizen inside the locker room. And of course, when you mention something like that, where it's he said versus she said, DK, it's hard to pick a side on what or who is right because both probably have some truths in it. And it just never resonates out. The only time it ever got bad is on social media from not maybe you folks, but a lot of folks on there. That's the only time it really got terrible from opposing fans, and maybe if a Steeler fan was mad at them.
Yeah, that's how that goes. It's a lot like, and I'm not going to sit here and compare this or that or whatever, but from strictly a social media standpoint, someone like Deshaun Watson, he's done forever. He can't say a thing. Nobody can say anything about him without 700 masseuse jokes and everything else. Not that we're above that here.
We're not, because their fan base is one of the filthiest with the Ben stuff.
Oh yeah. That's also, but that's also what social media is. Something gets thrown at you, something sticks, and it's there forever. Especially Twitter.
Oh,
where there's just no rules.
By the way,
accounts.
Since you said Twitter, if y'all been tweeting at me and DK been tweeting me at the show, I am still locked out. My authenticator is not working, and Elon won't let me call and talk to somebody so I can get my account back. It's there, but I don't have access to it. If you were tweeting me and I didn't say anything back.
Yeah, I hear that here. Kevin Motley is jealous of all my Turner's tea. I'm actually not doing that today, but yeah,
I get jealous of that too.
They used to. By the way, they're not a sponsor. I had people ask, like, why are you hawking that Turner's tea? They're not a sponsor. They were at the very, very beginning of our company. But that was legit. We're going to take a couple.
Now they're sending in Browns hate stuff on the side.
Yeah, I see that here.
Let's not be above it. I'm with you, Jake. I'm petty just like you, okay? I try to have some respect because he's a player and I'm a former player, but when it comes to those Cleveland Browns fans, hey, let them have it.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a couple other good football questions here to round things out for the day. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you again that if you want to be a member, the way to do that, the simplest way to do that is to go to dkps.net/join. I don't know what our exact membership count is right now, but we're comfortably over 500 somewhere. Our goal is to get that to 1,000.
Yeah,
Not
I
that far fetched.
well, it's not that far off either, DK. I got one, I think, from my guy Eric from earlier, DK.
Okay.
It was this one. We was talking about Anthony Miller. Tomlin reportedly said, if you are a big wide receiver, then you better learn how to tackle and block special teams. That is one of the most baseline things. If you're not one of those top 3 guys, if you're 4 and 5, you better find yourself very valuable to a coach by the name of Danny Smith, right, DK?
Oh, you better know his name for sure.
And he can't wait to tell you what you need to be doing as a wide receiver 4. You better get your behind in this meeting and go get you a tackle or 2 to make yourself more valuable.
Mm-hmm. That is true here. Oh, the Deshaun Watson. It's not stopping here.
They're going in. DK.
It's like all you have to do is mention it,
Yeah.
Everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Just Brown flush it down.
Oh no.
I love it, man.
It's relentless here. Jake comes in with a question for you. He says, this is going to be our last one for the day. Hey, Moan, can you talk about that night with Mason Rudolph in Cleveland? What happened in the immediate aftermath, and how did that ride back home go?
Man, first and foremost, Jake, from the Uncle Sabo, I'm glad you know it's a ride and not a flight over to Cleveland.
It is.
I think everybody knows that we ride buses to Cleveland, which by far one of the best things we did as a team. I love the bus trip. It was super cool. But the ride was a bunch of this. Checking social media, figuring out what was going to happen. What were they saying? Who had the first reaction to what it went down? It was chaotic, but calm. I think when the game was over, everybody was mostly chill. I remember watching Pounce pace back and forth, me looking at guys, having a conversation about why did this go on? Of course, there was a lot of name calling and curse words that was used in the back of the bus too. But it was chaotic, but calm because there was nothing else we could do. I do remember thinking to ourselves, how are we going to get out of this stadium? Not in a threatening way, but in a way of this is some weird stuff. Nothing like this has ever happened with the helmet, and I hope we're on the right side of everything that happened, and we weren't. Okay, it was everybody that was around it got fined. I think I got fined over $3,000. Pounce got suspended. There was
and earned it.
He
got his money's worth.
He did get his money's worth. I immediately remember the speculation of what could Mason have done. If you know, Mason does not discriminate whatsoever when it comes down to who he is and what he is. He loves everybody, man. And I don't say that as a stock statement. He vibes with everybody. Male, female, don't matter what you do, how you do it. He looks like he doesn't, but he's a super good dude. And, of course, trying to, what do you want to call it, DK? PR control. If he said something derogatory or racist, he didn't.
You know what Mason is? Yeah, I have a word for him.
What?
Harmless.
Harmless.
He is. He's harmless. He's not going to be somebody who does anybody any harm. He's just not that guy.
I couldn't imagine Mason fixing his mouth to say the N-word, and that was pushed out there early. You couldn't. If you know him, you know that's not true. So
if it was true, you wouldn't wait 5 days.
No, you
wouldn't
bring
it up.
So it was control of emotions. It was chaotic, calm chaos.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
I hear that. Jim Fairfield says, "Hey, Moan, my wife had been hospitalized over the past week. She told me today, I miss that big, happy football guy," meaning you.
Hey, Jim, hopefully your wife is fine, man, and she's having a speedy recovery. You are by far the best with that statement. No, your wife is, okay? Tell her thank you and smile a little bit for me.
Tell her she wouldn't have enjoyed lining up across from that big, happy football guy.
Not this guy. I had to. Yeah, no, DK couldn't.
This has been the Justin Work episode of the Ramon Foster Show.
Yeah.
We remain humbled in your awesome presence, sir.
Still, I got nothing. I got a bell for him. That's all I can do.
That's what we can do. We are just here in just complete awe today. All right, guys, let's do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll see you guys, man. Have a good Thursday, good people.
Mm-hmm. See, one possible. What that? There's one possible concept that I think will work for these emojis, and to get her to finally make them.
What's
and
that?
that is if we have the big rage emojis,
The big rage emoji.
big rage emoji. It's just rages. She's asking, what does it do?
Like the
Rages.
Hulk with my face on it, Dolly.
The Hulk with his face on it. He said,
Yeah.
Dolly.
Okay, but that's so small, it's not going to be recognizable.
It's the significance of it.
It's the symbolism.
People
Also,
mine Bitcoin, Dolly, and they don't see that. I mean, come on.
That's right. Here, hang on. She needs to have a word with you.
Yeah, come on in here, Dolly. They want to see you instead of us anyway. Hey,
Wait, what are we making?
we're making the Hulk emoji with me or DK on it. Like, that's gotta be it. You said it's gonna be too small. Guess what? People sold NFTs. Okay, we can do this together.
Okay.
That
I'm
makes
doing
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Hulk with your head on it. We'll be ready tomorrow.
Some similar. If you want to give me an 8-pack, a 6-pack, or something, I'm cool with that too.
Whatever Hulk comes with. I'll just contribute sunglasses.
Yeah. That'll work right there. Look at you getting all the love over here. Hey, Dolly. Hey, that's crazy.
Hi, everybody.
You are the show, Dolly, and now you're me.
That was what was intended, but Dan keeps doing this, so then you could tell that he's behind it. The whole point, it was supposed to be W.
It's all good, Dolly.
Get it? W?
W. I like it. Look at you with a dad joke today.
Because it's still Father's Day week.
It's still Father's Day week. Yes, it is, man. Well, Dolly, we'll get it done somehow, right?
We are.
It'll be great for the season when we talk about blocks and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be ready for tomorrow. Hulk with your head on it.
Say bye.
Bye, everybody.
See,
That's it. He's closing it. He's turning it off. It's over.